Hi Homeworthy, I'm Annie. Welcome to my home in Oxford. I can't wait to show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
I'm Annie Sloan and I have a business making paint. I invented chalk paint in 1990. This is my house in Oxford, in England. It's a Victorian house built, I think, about 1870, around there. It's a four-storey house. So we moved here, my husband and I think three of my boys then. We all moved here in the year 2000, so we had the millennium here, which was great. And it was had been lived in by an archaeologist and his family, and so it was very Victorian. He made it very Victorian, quite heavy and dark, I thought. So great bones, this house, I love it. But we've made it a lot lighter. So this area here, actually, when we bought it, was outside, and these were the old back rooms. So there would be, I think there was an outside loo, really broken down, but an outside loo, an old scullery area, and to my left was the garden area. So we've made this another building, and lots of light coming in, and it goes into looks over the garden. And it's what we call the garden room. So it's got a more modern feel to it. And we go out there where we've got the car, and we use this exit and entrance a lot. And so we've kept the front of the shop. I was going to say, we had a shop at that point. I kept the front of the house a little bit more Victorian, I'd say. So welcome to my hallway. This is where you come in. The walls are painted in this beautiful pink. It's called Piranesi, and it's a sort of earthy old pink, but very warm and very cozy. So you come in and you see the staircase right in front of you. And I love my yellow and black. I love it. I love the stripes. And I love yellow and pink, yellows and oranges, yellows and pinks. So I really think this is a good area. Lots of pictures on here, which I constantly change because I never quite get it right somehow. This is going to be changing. I don't like the pink and the green. I usually like pink and green, but not this pink and green. So that's going to be changing soon. My doors are a sort of deep blue, Aubusson blue, waxed. Really lovely, I think. So maybe more of that. So always changing. And so the stairs, but then down here into, and I love this, going into my my garden room. So it's very welcoming, I think. On the side of this wall here, I really love it. This is important, this little area here. So I've got some more work to do on it. But I particularly love this wall. The base of this wall is Antibes green with a line of the blue on it. And I want to work this a little bit more. And I've got a whole lot of pictures. They're all very, quite random actually. A very old drawing, painting, oil painting from Holland. A drawing I did of my son many years ago. A Japanese thing. A lovely sketch I got in New York, down there. All a lot of different things, and I really find this a very interesting area, particularly again when you go here and you see other things. So again, it's very different parts of the world. So this is a Japanese painting, I think this is a little, I don't know where it came from. Could be Japanese or it could be Chinese. Chinese, actually, what am I saying? They're both Chinese. That came from Cuba when I went there. That is a Ghanaian barber's sign. I just adore that. And this is a drawing I did myself it came to me, it was an extraordinary drawing because there wasn't a man, he didn't look like that, but I could see him in my head and I just drew him. That often happens to me or has happened to me over the years. So there's that. And going up, and I've got lots of pictures along the stairs as well. That one needs to be put up, so I haven't quite worked out where it should be. I did have it there, I'm not certain if I like it there. It's a Graham Sullivan print, which I like him as a English 1950s, 60s painter, very well known at one point. I think he's great. So up here are these two gorgeous cornices. They're Victorian and not uncommon, especially along here. I think this row of houses has them, and some others, you see them in some houses. And I picked them out in the white because I think they look so gorgeous. So the Piranesi, old white, and again the ceiling has got I think it's lovely. It's original, and I've done that white with country grey, a good neutral. And it's a neutral with pink in it, so that country grey's got red in it, pink in it, and I think it just works very, very nicely. So this guy here, he's actually, I think, from Indonesia. I bought him in a shop because I just thought he was lovely, and I don't know much about him. I normally do. This guy I really love. My parents lived in Zimbabwe at one point, and I have lots of pieces from Zimbabwe. And I particularly like this one. Unfortunately, her head fell off one time, but I just glued her back on. But I do love the fact it's all one piece of wood and carved. And this was a tiger. It's not very good quality, but my mother gave it to my son, and I keep meaning to give back to him, but I haven't. And I've got these two 1930s Art Deco clocks here, which I'm not sure, I can't decide if I like them or not. So they're sitting here while I work out if they're good or not, if I like them, do I want them? So I might sell them, I don't know, we'll see. Lots of paintings that around here, some paintings from my parents' house that I love, little framed oil paintings. They're ubiquitous. They're not special, but they're nice. One of my favourite artists is Revilius, and he's from the south of England, and I love his work. Just a painting, Victorian painting. So yes, my house is very colourful. There is a lot of colour in it, although I don't think it's overpowering at all. It's never, in my opinion, it's never jarring. So I think that's because the way I use colour is not just to throw everything in. I think you have to be able to use colour so that it is not jarring on the eyes, but it is gentle and soothing, but at the same time it's quite exciting. I think sometimes when people say, I love colour, they think that you have to have like 20 colours in a room or in a scene or on a wall. You don't at all, but you do need a sort of base for everything. You always need a neutral somewhere. The neutral can be very dark or it can be very light. But my neutrals are actually really important in my colour palette for my paint. And you don't want to have, I think, more than 3 colours. And yet sometimes you look at my rooms or you think there's more than 3 colours there. Well, there probably is, but the main thing will be one colour, and then there'll be pops of other colours all around. There is one space in my house which isn't like that, and that is my main sitting room where I've got shelves, and that is a lot of colour. But that means that that is a bit more like a sweetie pack, you know, candies. There's lots of colour and it all seems to work. I think you need to have a good balance. I think if you've got everything the same size, so all small bits of blue, red, yellow, green, purple, blah, 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 that is too much. But if you've got a lot of one colour and then little bits of others, it somehow gives it some sort of balance and weight to it. It's the same thing, not just for colour, but also for size. So if you have too many things which are all the same size in a room, lots of little, I don't know, little trinkets, that's going to be, it's not going to work for you. You need big things, small things, wide things, everything. So that's, I think, if anything, that's my colour mantra. So you'll see in this entryway there's an awful lot of colour, and it's a sort of introduction to the rest of the house, because actually it gets a bit brighter. So welcome to my sitting room. It's in two parts. This part here, which is in green, and this was one single room, but I've knocked through to get to the back part there, and that I've done in Cambrian blue. And there's another door behind there, but we don't use it because there were two separate rooms. But one big room, although in fact we often, the way the chairs moved, we sort of are in this bit or in that bit, but occasionally when we have friends, we push that back and then it's one big room. I have so much in here to tell you, I don't know where to start actually. I think where I'll start are these two, because these are really important, these two beautiful chandeliers. They're French, I think 1960s. They're rather Chanel, I think. I think she had that sort of the idea of those palm fronds was quite, I've seen a table like that. So I like to think I'm being very Chanel. The rest of the room, I don't know, where do we start? And here, three of my prints that I love. They're arranged rather oddly, which I did deliberately. Now, I'm not sure that I like that so much. But these are by a painter called Graham Sutherland. I've got one upstairs. And this painting here is this drawing rather, is by Michael Ayrton. And it's the whole thing about man and beast and that sort of thing. I love it. Gosh, so much to talk about. This is a piece I painted myself. I love it because I just love it. I don't know why, but it's a stencil that I designed and made after an artist who a designer that I particularly like, called Enid Marks. This is a great jug that I painted, and it's just got two little handprints on it, which actually was one of my stencils. An old sofa, funny little thing, with all this gorgeous embroidery on it. I just love it. And lots of odd and quite clashing styles of cushion. And, you know, I said that this was supposed to be Victorian because actually I haven't shown you the ceiling, which I will in a minute. Before that, I'm just going to talk about what's on here. So they're all very different. So this is an American blanket company, quite famous. And this is a South African company, the one there with the big hands and the faces. This is an English designer. I can't remember her name. Terrible. But her work's terrific. And this actually is part of my new work that I've done, a cushion. I did a range of cushions based on some designs from the Bodleian Library, world-famous library, one of the oldest in the world. And it has a collection of bestiaries, and that's what that is part of. So that's that whole thing there, very random and quite odd. I don't quite know, well, I think it works, perhaps other people won't think it does. Before we go to other things in the room, we should see the ceiling and the very nice cornice. This is all original. It started with the house, so it'll be about 1870. And it's been beautifully cleaned, actually not by me, by previous owners, thank goodness. It's a huge job because years of paint, but it's all cleaned, and we've only painted it once, and with chalk paint it's quite light. And the colour on the ceiling is country grey. I talked a little bit about my neutrals, and that neutral is made of two complementaries, which is red and green. And if you mix red and green together with white, depending on your mix, you get a sort of colour that's sort of neutral. So that's why it works particularly well with this room, this green, this Schinkel green, my wall colour. And outside it was the pink. It worked with that as well, because there is pink and green in there. It's wonderful. And these are some bits and pieces that I have. Again, another Graham Sutherland. His work, I think, is really earthy and wonderful, but he does them in great colours. It's all about nature. So here are sort of fossils and insects and stones and sort of bits of fungi. I love his work. I think it's wonderful. These are two paintings by, two etchings rather, by a painter called Robert Cahoon. He's one of the Scottish painters from the 1950s. I'm really keen on the 50s. I really find the art there, particularly British art, really interesting. And some other little bits of paintings that I love. A plate that I designed for Charleston. Picture of my mother, a beautiful Roman, oh, better not move that, a Roman foot. Just lots of little bits and pieces. And I do it with lots of things like this. So this is a seed pod I found. I think it's just wonderful. So things like that. My grandchildren love them as well. And talking about seed pods, I have this, which is, a tray or bowl from Tahiti, which I was born in Australia, and my parents came to England with me, and we came by boat, and we stopped at various places, and we bought that, so I keep that. And in it, I have lots of, like an ammonite, natural things, and some seed pods, different seed pods, a oyster shell. Oh, that, it's a horn of a goat that I found in Ethiopia. So I've travelled an awful lot, yeah, conquer. So my grandchildren come and they always look at that, which I love. Have a look at the fireplace. Beautiful, it's marble, lots of lovely things. Skulls, bits from, I bought that from a Chinese painter, a Chinese artist in China. This wonderful thing, which is, I absolutely adore. She's a tattoo artist, and she's made this pot and done it with these absolutely wonderful designs on it, which I think sort of look like tattoos. So that part into this part, this is all painted in Cambrian blue, and it's a slightly more mellow space, it's a little bit quieter, the noise is different, don't ask me why. This is one of my favourite things. It's an amazing screen that I have with, I think, it looks like Aubusson blue and some of my French linen and colours. So that's a favourite piece. Table, just wonderful things. An old drawing I did myself there. It's a pot and I painted it. That's my sons, 3 of my sons on there, and my grandchildren. There you can see there. And this is Gordon. Gordon, not everyone loves them, but I love Gordon. My grandchildren do as well. Around, yeah, some Japanese pictures. Again, some paintings that I've done. Just little bits and pieces. They're all collections of all sorts of things. And we flip around, and so we're in Oxford, and my husband was at Corpus Christi College, Oxford, and we went to a salvage place one day and found these, and these were the doors from one of the college rooms that they had got rid of. I was amazed. So we bought it, and so that's the, what are they? The pelican who's biting itself, and that's the blood. And so this is these lovely old doors. It'll be 18th century, I think. I painted it in fur behind so that you can really see it. And it's strong. I love this. I love this. I painted this, sponging, cutting shapes and printing them. So many things. Yeah, lots of lovely things. Some of my favourite artists. Oh, shall I show you this? Because I love this. So this is my beautiful lady. She is a real bust, so a real mannequin, and she's covered in old French paper, and you can read her if you like. And of course her body is extraordinary. So that would be a corseted woman from probably late 19th century, and someone's given her a hat. Well, no, a head rather, but it's a light bulb. I think it's fantastic. I mean, just for so many reasons, it looks quite surreal. And I bought it in France, and we got off the ferry, the boat to France, had a coffee, passed by a little antique shop, saw that and thought, I've got to have it. So, and she's been with me for a long time now, her and her tiny waist. So this blue room, mainly blue, lots of blue things in it, has got a second colour in it. I remember I talked about having always a neutral, a main colour and a second colour. And so the main colour, second colour in here is orange. It's called Barcelona orange. So here is a table that I've had for years and years, and painted in that colour and waxed and been with me for ages. And my children have really used to try to beat it up, but it's still looking amazing. And then above here on the side, I put two shelves in because I love jugs. So these two great big jugs, all these jugs along here, are against this orange, which I think just gives it a little bit of, just a bit of life, I suppose, and picks up on all the other bits of orange, like on here. So this is this is Peruvian, and I love these with these lovely tassels. So that sort of picks up on it. So the orange, the blue's there, and then occasionally, of course, I've got something completely different, but orange there again, and a lovely carpet, lovely rug. Actually, it doesn't have orange in it, but it probably should have, shouldn't it? So I don't know what you'd call my style, but it is, it's a sort of organic. I haven't sat there and decided. I'm not a designer who goes and just does the whole house at once. And it's very organic. It's grown organically over the years. So, and I buy a lot of stuff. I'm a bit of a magpie. I see stuff and I want it desperately. I love it. And so I've got all these sort of prizes, these treasures, and they're all over the house. So the initial idea that this would be more modern and the rest of the house would be more Victorian, that was the idea, but in fact, it's all merged in. I suppose I like a lot of colour, and I don't aim to be maximalist. I don't aim to be anything, actually. I just aim to please myself. I think my maxim is you need to be able to, I got this from my father as well. He said, I want to be able to sit in a chair in my house and look and think that is beautiful. So that's what I want to do. So I do sit in different chairs all the time going, is that nice? Is that good? So this is in fact a great way to decorate your house, because you can see there are gaps, and you will sit in a chair that you don't normally sit in and go, oh, that's totally wrong. So that's how I do it. It does have to be visually beautiful for me. If I live somewhere or go somewhere that isn't beautiful, or what I find really lovely, so when we were first living here, and we didn't have the time because we were doing my shop. I had a shop at that point, like I said. I would not be able to look. I found it so horrible. I can't look at certain things. It sounds crazy, but that's what I am. So, next stop, the kitchen. Come with me. So this is the kitchen. Down my little spiral staircase into this little area here. This is where I have breakfast every morning, and it's under the sort of skylight, which is fabulous. This was originally where the house ended, and this part was the outside, and it was rather cold, and even on the sunniest days it would be rather damp. So we decided, instead of the house ending here, to bring it out, have a glass roof, so it's always light. Even on the dullest days it feels really nice, and on a sunny day it's gorgeous. I painted it, and what I really love is I had a shelf here, and with the shelf I've put in they're sort of troughs, and I've stuck onto them bits of old furniture, bits of carving, some moulding. I go to an architectural salvage place called Lasco's, and they have lots of little bits of stuff that nobody really wants. They're the backs of chairs. You might recognise that, some bit of moulding. And then I just painted it all graphite. I've always thought I'm going to do something special with it, but it's just stayed. It's looking a little bit depleted at the moment. Often it's really full of lots of lovely stuff, but a couple of things died this year and I haven't quite got round to making it as full as I should do. But it's somewhere that I really love, and you know, it's a great place to, I love watering the plants and all the rest of it, so it makes me feel sort of at one with everything. So this is where we have breakfast, and then around here is the Aga, Pride and Joy, my Aga. So it's always on, really lovely, and you can sit and warm yourself, really lovely. And I've painted around here. This is just chalk paint. I've never waxed it, I've never sealed it, and it is worn a little bit here, but it won't wear anymore. And it was just me, it was like playtime. There are people who are sort of doing acrobatics and just some joyousness there. And I think a lot of what I do is about joy, and it's about loveliness and playfulness and sort of, yeah, and that's what you do in the kitchen a bit sometimes. I play and make recipes and make things up. I like to cook. It's still at the moment this colour called French linen, and I promised to paint it. I haven't done it yet. I want to do it either bright red. That would work with this piece up there. Well, that's a cupboard. Behind there is all my coats and what have you. So that's bright red, and I sort of think I might do this red as well, but that's a whole project. So I've got to get the sort of the right, well, I need time to do it, but also the sort of the complete vision of what it's going to be. So here is, these are all the cupboards here, and this is our sort of central island. It's not very big, it's not very wide, the ceiling's very low. This would have been where the coal would have been kept many years ago in Victorian times, so it didn't need to have deep, high ceilings. So it's not something, there's not a lot of room, so I can't have a proper island, but I can get to these by having to do that. It's always a bit awkward, but yeah, and having glass means you have to have beautiful things up there. But that's nice. I'm pleased with that. And then through to here, again, quite a low ceiling. Anybody that's very tall, no good. And in here is, and the light and the sound changes, so it's a little deeper. So this is where we have family lunches, dinners, and friends round. And this is, well, you know, I talked about, it's a sort of creative mess. It's not like a design space, but there's full of stuff going on. Lots of pictures that I love and lots of painted things. So my table is painted with flowers, and I mean, it's been so many things over the years. Now it's that. And this is a plate that I designed and painted. It's actually one of the ones that I did for the Bodleian library, but I'm not going to sell it because partly I don't think it's quite good enough. It's a bit weird, but anyway, I do like it. To my left is my piano that I painted. So I really love this painted thing. I don't know, this piano. And a little bit of red across there, which I like. I love the fact that it's all quite muted and greys, and but this bright red in it. You need some pop, you need some colour. And my grandchildren come and play, and my son comes and plays, two of my sons. All three of them are very musical, and some of them, two of my sons are, well, actually they all make a business out of, well, no, they don't. Two of them are professional musicians, so this is something I really, really love. Two paintings there and another one over there, rather etchings, drawings, by an artist who I love, which is George Gross, German, from the pre-First World War, always between the wars, and it's quite dark, but I think the work is incredible. And there, another one of Michael Ayrton, who I love, and it's the Minotaur, and he's got a human body, but a face of a bull, and a tail as well. And I think it's the thing about, you know, the man and beast and all of that stuff. Great story. I love it. And there's a picture of my father over there. A lovely photograph that I love from the 1930s. Oh gosh, so many other things in here. So this is this great space here, slightly quieter, more business-like there, and then more light in the next bit. What makes a house a home? I think that's a brilliant thing to think about, because there are some houses that I go to or have been to that visually are not great and are not giving me many vibes. So for me, the vibes are really important. I also think that it shouldn't be incredibly tidy, and you'll find that in my house. It's tidy, but it's not within an inch of its life. So there's history. There's a sort of time history. You know, you'll find maybe some things that I've had out and looking at, and they're still there. I'm not someone who likes to clear up my toys, as it were, too quickly. I like to leave them out while I'm thinking about things, and, you know, if I like it. So there's magazines around which I can look at, books around which I like to look at, and they're just little bits and pieces. So it is very much a sort of something in progress, I suppose. And I think that's how, I don't think you should ever feel that a house is finished. And there are things which are wrong. There are sort of things that it's not quite right. But I think those little jarring things are good. You know, this isn't a hotel room. It isn't a hotel that's perfectly done. There are things that slightly jar, and those jarring things are what gives it a little bit of frisson, you know. So that's my home. So come with me and I'll show you my garden room. So this is my garden room, so called because it goes right out into the garden. And it's always got things going on. I have quite a lot of this big plant, which makes it seem quite tropical, but in fact it's not at all tropical. My favourite wall is this, I think. It's painted in graphite and it's over duck egg blue, and I've done it in a sort of wash. So it goes dark, light, brush strokey. Lots of things going on, and I really love it. It's sort of deep, but not overpowering, and there's lots of pictures on it. They're all ones that I really love. That is a piece of tissue paper, not tissue, crepe paper. I bought it in New York on a big roll, And I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's nymphs in its 1920s. And I think it would have been used to dress up. Dressing up was a huge thing in the 20s. So that was that. Lots of things that I found in junk shops and bought from friends and what have you. That one I love. I bought that in Marseille in a street market. I've never done the frame because I sort of love the frame, sort of hate it, but I love this. And it's named by somebody I don't think very famous. Love this. It's a painting my son did, Felix, and he was a designer, now he's a musician, but love all that. This is a great desk that I bought from St Anne's College. I bought 3 of them and kept one. And it's a 1930s, big and heavy looking when it's brown oak. And it was very plain looking, but I painted it. I daren't show you what's inside because it's such a mess. Oops. But I will quickly show you that it's red inside. And I think those colours are fabulous. Can't see inside because I'm so messy. It's where I go, where should I put that? I'll throw it in there. I think we've all got a cupboard like that. And over this wall here, I've got this wonderful red, which is burgundy, and a painting that I bought by a painter that I really, really love. And you'll see it's next to this wall. I find it a bit odd and crazy. And I haven't painted this out, but when I was making my wall colours, I'd make the colours and then experiment with, did this work? So this is my Capri pink. I think it's fabulous. I love it. I actually want to paint it, but I sort of love all my other bits. And that's my Tyrian plum, and that's my, I think, Pemberley. So all these different colours there on Paris grey. And I like this collection. So he came from India. I went to India and found him. He's a bit of a pal. He looks as though he's going to fight us. That I bought in South Africa, and is a little bit like, what's the story of the talking animals? Can't remember, but it looks like the Push Me, Pull Me, because it's got one head that way, that one, and you could put something on there. I suppose you could put a candle on it, but I think originally it was something else. A painting I did myself, and a little piece, a little wooden piece from India that I painted looking a bit like India. And that is, I don't know if I'm going to get it back on there. That is from America. A wonderful, I suppose, Charles toy, which I love. Whoops. So, during lockdown, I brought this big table in here because I couldn't go to the warehouse where I have my studio, couldn't paint at all. So I brought this here. It's become still, I do work on it. So over the weekend, I was looking at this, which is a painting I did a while back, but I've always rather loved. I love these heads. And so I looked at those and I bought online. It's probably, I don't know what these are, but they're just different races around, different peoples around the world. And I just thought they're beautiful, these lovely drawings. She's rather lovely. And it's a Chinese man. And I thought, I love this sort of people of the world. So I'm going to so I've been drawing these, looking at that idea, and maybe doing something similar. I don't know where this is going. Sometimes I do these things and they never go anywhere. And then years later they come out. But I am thinking of doing some more plates. So maybe they might go into there. And a nice piece that I'm very fond of, which is Capri. and other colours that go with capri. People were very nervous that I made this colour, and I said it goes with everything, and it sort of does. Capri there. And on here, oh, it's a painting I made into a cushion, and this old French thing here. So you can see all through the house, lots of cultures, lots of different colours, modern and new, and everything all working together. I think that's what makes a house something that, and things that also have stories for me. So I think that's what makes a house a home, and just buy loads of stuff. And nowadays you can sell it. If you don't like it, just sell it somewhere. You can sell it online. I keep glancing and going, oh, I haven't shown you about this. So I love this along here. So this is crackled. It's wooden, but I crackled it and put silver into the crackles. This I painted myself to make it look like marble. It sort of works. I mean, it's ridiculous because you couldn't not have a marble lampshade. This is from Africa, in South Africa, and I bought this from quite a well-known potter there. Really bad at names. That came from Tahiti when we came from Australia to England. And that is by a wonderful woman who is a Swedish potter who makes lots of these beautiful things, and they're candlesticks, but they're angels. I think their faces are lovely. So I love to promote other people's work. I'm really bad at remembering their names, that's the only thing. So I'll have to try and look them up and find out if anybody's interested. If I was to say, what does home mean to me? It would be where I feel completely comfortable. It's where I can just throw my shoes off and feel really comfortable. It's where my family come, and my family are incredibly important. Two of my sons live very locally, and my grandchildren, my 3 grandchildren live locally, and I love them to come here. And I love them running up and down the stairs, and it's in the house, I didn't want to ever make it child-proof. So there is lots of things, and I don't worry if things get broken. Well, mostly I don't. But I think it's got to be feeling where everybody feels comfortable, and there's a good place to sit and eat and just be, eating with friends, which is what I just did yesterday, is probably the best thing ever. So, garden room. Now, let me take you upstairs to my bathroom and bedroom. Come on. Entree. So this is my bathroom. It's about to change completely. I have had this for quite a while and just feel, I've got to do something different. So I'm going to have a walk-in shower, a bit of a sort of wet room. But I will be sad to see this guy go, because he's my beautiful painting that I did along the boards here. They're boards going horizontally, and I painted a sort of a French landscape. I don't know. It's something similar to where we live in France. We have a house in France. This I love. This is crewel work. It's really faded now. You can see, very faded. It was much stronger and deeper and richer before. But what it does is hides the plastic curtain because they're really ugly. Yeah, this was a really nice, beautiful bathroom set, but it's looking very tired and old. And this here, the door fell off, and that fell off. And although it's a beautiful bit of old Italian, I think it's seen better days. So all changing. Oh, it's blue on the walls. It's Aubusson blue, which I love. So it's all going to change. I'm going to try to keep the travertine on the floor or something similar, and I want to incorporate that because that's a piece that I found, and I painted it with Versailles. The colours might change, but I will repaint it. But I think it's a rather beautiful piece. I think I might have another bit of that in France, and I might incorporate it over here. But that's all to come. And similarly, this is my bedroom right next door. Come in. And again, this is all about to change. So at the moment, I'm not loving it at all. I did used to love it. It was a great haven. I just want something completely different now. What is lovely is this bedhead, deliberately aged, and it was made by my husband. And it's very old pieces that we found in a reclamation yard. They're probably, this was a sort of a panel, 18th century panels. No one else knew what to do with it. And then he stuck bits there on, put a pelmet along it here from something else. And this is extra, and there's another little bit on top. And I've painted it and gilded it. Again, I want to change it. But at the moment, it's all blues and Versailles, that lovely sort of greeny colour. These little bits here, and my chaps, my pheasants, which is nice. And lots of little bits in here, but I feel it's just time to change. Nice chandelier, though. There's always bits I love in my bedroom, but it's all the bookcases going, and we're slowly getting rid of books. I did have a complete collection of World of Interiors. They're all going. I'm going to sell them. So I'm finding I'm not looking at them so much now. So yeah, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed everything. There's other parts, all the parts of the house that you've seen. Thank you for being with me.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.